Welcome, everybody, to the Town of Pownal Selectboard regular meeting, February 10th at 7 p.m. We need to call to order, approval of agenda, approval of minutes, warrants, correspondence, old business, reminder town meeting, town hall update, ARPA funding, town report, personnel policy, property cleanup and ordinance, public comment, and adjourn. Can I?
Move to approve the agenda.
Second it.
Other discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right, approval of minutes.
Move to approve minutes January 18th, 2022.
Second it.
Any discussion?
Know which one you're in?
These are minutes, not warrants.
Oh, yeah, sorry.
Any discussion?
I'm in all of them. I was there.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right, minutes of January 19th.
Move to approve January 19th.
We approved them the last meeting on the 27th. We approved the 19th and we approved the 22nd.
Yeah. I thought.
Should be January 13th. Those were amended.
So January 13th was amended, so we have to vote on
Yes.
that, not the 19th?
No, just the
Okay.
13th. Sorry
Must
about
be a
that.
typo. Okay,
Yeah, 13th.
all right. The minutes of January 13th.
Move to approve 13th.
Can I have a second? Okay. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Minutes of the 22nd, the emergency meeting.
You weren't here. You can,
Oh,
you won't be able to approve those today.
But I thought we already did that.
yeah, we,
We
Last
couldn't
meeting.
approve them last time either.
right.
Oh,
I
because we
think
didn't
because
have.
Bob, Bob
Yeah,
was.
Bob was absent.
Okay, so we don't have enough
So
people this time
we'll have to
either.
add that to the
We'll have
next
to
one.
add it to next meeting.
That's what I thought.
Okay.
Sorry, Megan.
I knew that one.
I was a little confused and I'm like, I thought we already did them. All right, minutes of January 27th.
Motion to approve.
So, second.
The only thing I have to say is that you need to add that board member, Bob Jarvis was absent on those, okay? With that, can I entertain a motion?
I'll move to approve the 27th with the amendment.
Second it.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
For warrants?
I'm in one of these.
Yep, I got you right here.
Okay.
Accounts payable 2/2 to 2/4 for $15,463.28.
So moved.
Second it.
Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Accounts payable 2/10/22 for $21,056.27.
So moved.
Oh, there's the updated one right on the top. It was misprinted. First one.
The first one in this yellow. No, that's payroll. $21,056.27.
It should be 17,000 and change.
Which,
All right, this paper was on top. $17,245.32.
So moved.
second it.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right, so just those two, correct, Megan? Now we're going on to payroll. All right. Payroll for 2/4/22 for $11,849.32.
So moved.
Can I have a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Payroll 2/11/22 for $12,240.81. Mike is in it.
Okay, we're gonna have to table that one till next time because
Right.
there's not enough of us here to.
Right, so we're gonna have to table that one. Okay,
Yeah.
sorry about that. All right. We can open up for public comment. If anybody has a question about the warrants and the warrants only, please. Please raise your hand and state your name and ask your question. Megan, anybody?
There's no one raising their hand.
Thank you, Megan. Moving on to correspondence, we have a letter from the Congregational Beth Israel, and we're gonna have, Rebecca read that for us, please.
Okay. So this is from the president, the rabbi, and the executive director of Congregation Beth Israel in North Adams. To the members of the Pownal Selectboard and Pownal Planning Commission. We were deeply dismayed to read in the Bennington Banner about the anti-Semitic comment related to those Jews down in North Adams made by former Select Board and Planning Commission member Ronald Bisson at a public meeting on January 18th, 2022. Insinuating a sinister connection between Jews and money is an anti-Semitic canard that has been used for centuries to perpetuate hate and harm against the Jewish community. We were also dismayed and disappointed that every Planning Commission member remained silent in response to this comment. Although Commission member Megan Randall indicated afterwards that she was, quote, not okay, unquote, with the comment, not one member of the selected group of officials spoke out at the moment, nor did the commission or the governing select board make any public statement that anti-Semitism is unacceptable and will not be tolerated when interviewed for a newspaper article about the incident. Words send a message, silence sends a message too. Your silence sends a message to the residents of Southern Vermont and the surrounding areas that their public servants and elected leaders tolerate anti-Semitism. Silence in the face of hate, be it anti-Semitism or derogatory acts against any group, is not acceptable and harms individuals and communities. As elected officials, you have a responsibility to publicly confront anti-Semitism and all forms of hate speech that target the, quote, other whenever and wherever it occurs. So if you guys want to make comment on this letter, it was a very important letter. I asked for it to be read publicly. Then I have some things I want to share with you before you move into public comment, if that's okay.
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 I would like to say that I was taught to respect everybody, no matter what your race is, what your color is, what your nationality is, what your pay level is. I've always respected everybody, at least I try to. I think the board respects everybody. I'm totally against any kind of whatever. I'm just totally against it. And this really has bothered me and this has kept me up nights. And I just want you to know that I am truly sorry. Mike?
Anyone who knows me personally knows that anything of this sort, I absolutely will not tolerate. I would walk away from this select board right now, even though I was voted in by residents and taxpayers, if I felt that this select board supported or even if they didn't support but was not going to act on something like this. I would walk out the door right now. I will not stand for racism, anti-Semitism, sexism. It doesn't matter. I will not stand for it. It's against my personal values. And my personal values are something that I take, and I take them seriously, extremely seriously. And my personal values are what I lay my head down to every single night. And I literally would walk out the door right now and my key would be turned in. I would not tolerate it. And I will not tolerate it.
Jamie?
I was brought up not to be hateful of anybody. And I do not tolerate any of that type of stuff myself. I didn't bring up my children to tolerate that type of stuff. And I guess the easiest example that I can give is that when I was in the service, we all bled red and we all were Army green. There was no other colors, no other languages, even though there was multiple colors and multiple languages spoken. And till to this day, when I was a supervisor, when something came to my attention, it was brought directly to HR, it was handled, and people were disciplined. And I apologize that the select board didn't openly, I guess, state something publicly in that matter. We did bring it to the attention, and the individual did, in his response to being brought to the attention, the individual did resign from both the commission and the board. So respectfully, I believe we did handle the situation. But thank you.
Thank you. Rebecca?
Well, honestly, if you don't mind, I'd like to speak personally on this matter for a moment. Because as you know, I'm the one who heard it in the minutes and in the recording of it, and I brought it immediately to you guys.
Correct.
I think that a lot of people want to talk about intent. Well, what he meant, he didn't mean, he's just to this, he's just to that. And it's really important as public officials that we learn about the difference between intent versus impact. Because it doesn't matter what anyone's intention is in saying certain words. When you impact a large marginalized group of people with your words, no matter your intention around it, the impact is what's important, not the intention. So it's really important to not make this about the person and the intentions of the words they said, but instead to set an incredibly strong statement. And I would require this to remain employed here, to set an incredibly strong statement that clearly states that we support equity and inclusion in all of our dealings with the public and with each other as officials. And so I have brought some language here that I want you to consider. I don't think tonight is any night to be voting on it, because I think you should open it to the public as well to give input on this matter. I want to share with you and I wrote this, so I remembered it was here, and you had a copy of it, which I was really surprised of. We have our mission and vision statement. And in there, we do have some language, and I believe it can definitely be made more strongly, and a specific statement can be included in this mission and value statement. What we have now is inclusion of all citizens in civic discussions and decision-making that is representative of diverse backgrounds and ideologies without being exclusionary of any marginalized or vulnerable groups. That's already a value that we state in our documentation. So I would, yep.
Can you just, for the record, can you give us the date that
It was one of the first things.
one of the first things we did?
The first
One
thing
of
we
the first
did.
things you did when you guys
I
were
didn't
the
know if
new
the date
board.
was on the top.
So it was
But
approximately
we-
2 years ago. 2 years ago.
Right.
This is I think I brought this to our very first meeting.
I think so.
Yes.
I just wanted to have
I
that on the
asked,
record.
right.
That's all.
I
knew
played around with there's also in our personnel policy. In our personnel policy, we do have we have decent inclusion language and equity language regarding employment. And I'll just read that. The policy of the town of Pownal is to provide equal opportunity to all employees and applicants without regard to race, color, religion, ancestry, sex, sexual orientation, gender identity, age, national origin, place of birth, marital status, disability, veteran status, HIV status, pregnancy, genetic information, crime victim. I mean, it goes on. So I do have a beginning, just a rough beginning of suggestion of some language. And I want to point out that there's 2 words that I added in here that I did not find in any other equity and inclusion statement. And because I believe it's unique to Pownal, and I'd also like to address ongoing issues with civic discourse we've had in this town over years. So what I've written is this, and I'll point out the 2 that are added. Mm-hmm. The town of Pownal is committed to fostering a civic culture that provides the equitable respect, belonging, and treatment of all citizens. That commitment extends across all community segments, including, but not limited to, races, ethnicities, religions, genders, abilities, and these are the ones I added, educational level, and income and socioeconomic status.
Absolutely.
And LGBTQIA+, we purpose that all employees and public officials of the town of Pownal would stand strongly against all forms of racism, ableism, and discrimination, especially in the course of their work and service. So I just put that together so that you would have something to work with. I'm proposing to you that you place perhaps this on the website and have Megan create a portal so that citizens and also people from surrounding communities, if they would like to give input into what could be included in such of a statement, that we open it up to the public, and then we can come back at another time. I can take all of that and create something for you guys to review and to take public comment on the final product. That's my suggestion to you. It's obviously for you to discuss and decide, but I really wanted to speak very passionately and personally on this matter. Thank you.
Thank you.
And I do suggest opening it to, unless you have questions for me, I suggest opening this to public comment.
Yes, I had
100%.
planned on it. Does anybody have any questions for Rebecca? Okay, so we're going to open up for public. I'm sorry, Mike, were you done?
I just want to,
I was going to say, everybody can talk for 3 minutes.
yeah,
like
no,
normally.
I wasn't even at that point.
Oh, okay.
I would like Megan to, excuse me, on the website as well. I think this part right here, I would also like her to add the parts out of our personnel policy.
Yes.
So any language we already have.
Any language that we already have written in our mission statement or the personnel policy. I don't think we need to do the whole entire policy.
No, just that one section.
Or the mission statement, but just those paragraphs or whatever. So I'd like you to do that, Megan. Please include that in those on the website.
Okay, no problem.
Thank you.
Thank you, Megan. Okay, so please raise your hand. Remember to state your name, and you have 3 minutes. Megan, is there anybody raising their hand?
Mindy Joe?
Mindy Joe?
This is Mindy Joe from Burdick's Park. You guys are making me a little nervous here. All right. Dictating language, even on a political stance. Years ago, and I'm looking for the commercial, Shapiro's used cars. Okay. That's where that comment was going because of the fact of the junk cars. All the junk cars is what Megan kept talking about. All right. So I'm just getting really upset at all of it. Nobody should be calling anybody no names. I'm not for that either. Okay. However, we're dictating words. All right. Words, feelings, when it comes to feelings, they don't matter. Facts matter. The facts of the matter is, okay. I'm not trying to disrespect anybody, but my rights don't end where somebody's feelings begin. That's what's wrong with the world today. Everybody gets so hurt over something and your feelings will change. You're not the same people we were 10 minutes ago. We weren't the same people we were 10 years ago. None of us in my generation were raised like this, okay? You get your feelings hurt. Not everybody gets a gold ribbon. My rights don't end where your feelings begin. I don't mean to disrespect anybody. However, this is dangerous territory and it's what's wrong with the United States of America today. Thank you and have a good night.
Thank you. Anybody else, please raise your hand and state your name. Megan?
Not sure who it is. iPhone?
Yes, can you hear me?
Yes, we can. Please state your
Hi,
name.
yes, of course. This is Jenny Dewar. I'm going to read the letter I sent to all of you. I appreciate what Rebecca, all of what you came up with as well. This is a letter I sent to you all, so you've already heard it. In light of the unfortunate situation with Mr. Bizon and some subsequent offensive comments made in an effort to defend him, I hope the town of Pownal will examine our necessary acceptance of community members of all races, religions, identity, etc. Comments like, quote, being too politically correct, quote, context of the conversation, quote, hate agendas, and, quote, wokest philosophies in regard to Mr. Bizon saying, quote, just ask those Jews down in North Adams, unquote, show that we have members of the community who do not understand the gravity of Mr. Bizon referring to businessmen as, quote, those Jews, unquote, during a conversation about junk being a treasure to some people. There is no context where this is acceptable. Mr. Bizon's statement with his resignation was a non-apology. He defended his words by saying he was old and didn't know any better. Age has nothing to do with this issue. This is not about feelings being hurt. The Jewish people have been persecuted forever, and this kind of comment continues that persecution. Imagine if it had been, quote, just ask those blacks down in North Adams, unquote. Or, quote, just ask those gays down in North Adams, unquote. Or, quote, just ask those rednecks down in North Adams, unquote. It is not the term Jews that is problematic. It is the context in which the term was used. The context having nothing to do with the race, religion, or identity of those businessmen. The board can go further. I hope you are all, in fact, better than that. And from what you have all said, I believe you are. And no, we don't all make these kinds of mistakes. Ronnie was celebrated by many people. You've given so much time, you've given so much. It doesn't excuse the words. Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else? Please raise your hand. Megan?
Mindy Joe?
No, Mindy, you already spoke once, ma'am. Anybody else?
There's no one else raising their hand.
Thank you, Megan. Anybody? No, okay. All right,
I'm going to leave the table.
All right.
Since I don't believe I'm here for anything else.
all right, thank you.
Yep.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, everybody.
And anyone can reach out to me on that matter if they would like to speak with me personally. I'm happy to do so.
All right, thank
Okay.
you very much, Rebecca.
Send an email and you can,
Email, I'll speak to someone on the phone. I have no problem. This is an important matter that needs discussion.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
All right, old business, none, correct?
I don't have any, no.
Reminder, the town meeting. Megan, what's our reminder?
Just that the town meeting is on February 28th at 7:30 PM at the Pownal School.
February 28th, Pownal Elementary School.
Right, we're doing it in person.
Yes, in person at 7 PM. And
I believe
Megan,
it's 7:30.
oh, sorry, 7:30. Excuse me. Megan, can I ask a question? Is Cat TV going to be live?
usually.
Yes, I believe they're going to be here in person. I don't know if it's live or not, but
They're going to be here in person.
yes.
All right, thank you. Town hall update. Mike, is that you?
Yep. Megan, Eric, and I met Monday, I believe. Just an update. I'll get to read the email here that Eric sent us because we summarized it in an email. The plumbers are going to finish up the basement area this week. Electrician will finish his basement rough-in and installing the outlets and switches this week. Basement walls were insulated, walls framed and drywalled and taped last week. Walls are being compounded, then sanded and primed this week. We're here now. The drop ceiling has been started in the bathroom and the IT room in the basement. Drop ceiling is to be completed next week in the main area of the basement. We had to add the drop ceiling for certificate of occupancy from fire marshal's office.
And I saw them there this week, didn't I? The fire marshal vehicle.
I believe they were here Tuesday.
Yeah, I did see them.
We met here Monday, so this update was what we discussed on Monday.
Yep.
To be honest with you, they've been checking. Fire marshal's office has been in and out. Eric thought they would be here on Tuesday. That's their day down here. We're gonna have the final. We should have a final punch list of the things that we need to complete for a certificate of occupancy. They should have given us that. Or excuse me, or he was gonna ask for that on Tuesday when they were here, if they came down, which he assumed they were going to.
I saw them, so they were here.
So we should have a final punch list of the things that we need for the CO. And once we obtain the CO, we can move in. We can put people in there. The alarm company installed most of the devices last week. They'll complete and get their system online once the drop ceiling is completed in the basement. The IT stuff, Megan, I think, didn't Eric say there was internet in the building now, right?
Yes.
Yes, the internet works.
Yep. So our IT stuff is, semi up and running down there. So we're inching closer every day. The flooring's done, painting upstairs is done. Now they're concentrating on the basement. The temporary ramp for the exit for the last egress was completed on Monday or Tuesday. Which we needed that for the CO. We need some handicap signage. We've reached out to Joel on that. So we're
Almost there.
almost there. We're inching closer. We're almost
Yay.
there. We're gaining now. We're not that far away.
Excellent.
We're not that far away at all.
It's such good news.
Yeah. So, it'll be exciting when we get there. Let's hope for some good weather to get everybody in there and moving forward.
All right. All set?
Yep, that's it. Unless any,
Thank
I'll take questions on that at public comment if anybody has any.
Okay. ARPA funding, was that Megan or Rebecca? Was that you?
No,
No, okay.
why that's on there, but we still have the portal open if people, that portal is still open for public suggestions regarding uses of the money.
Okay.
Okay?
So I'll repeat what Rebecca said in case people didn't hear her. Right, you are, but that's okay. We still have the portal open on the town website, which we opened back in October or whatever for suggestions on what to do with some of the ARPA money. One of the projects is gonna be the pump station at Alta Gardens for sure. That's something that needs to be done and that's a perfect place to spend the money.
Yes, definitely.
So we still have the portal open. So please, if you have any suggestions, send them out.
Okay. Town report. Megan, did you want to discuss that?
I'm not sure how much discussion there is, but it is a part of the packet. There's a packet on the website as well for anyone out there that wants to see it, but it's all there.
And if you are interested in a paper copy, then you need to take and contact Megan and she can make sure you can get a hold of one.
Are we sending out the cards?
Yeah.
Yes, right, Megan?
Yes.
We're not-
Okay.
Yeah, we're not sending out the whole report.
No, we're just sending out the cards, and then if you want to come and pick one up or have one sent to you, you get a hold of Megan or Julie, correct?
That's correct.
Megan, can you make sure, and it may be on there because I don't go on the website very much. Can you make sure if it's not on there that is on our website? That town reports will not be mailed. The cards will be mailed and you have to request one.
Yes, no problem. I'll update that.
Yeah, I just want to make sure that's on there and as soon as possible would be great. Please and thank you.
I think I'd ask for them to request it at least 24 hours in advance. Not just walk in the door and ask for one.
Right,
Just for,
safety reasons and
well, that and,
to make sure that they're here and everything.
well, and if they've got already stuff they're working on, the interruption piece.
Correct.
So,
All right. Personnel policy, did everybody get it? Do y'all want to take it home and make sure
Do
everything?
you need to vote to approve the town report?
can we do that already?
I thought we already did that.
I don't think we did.
No, we have to do it at this meeting. We had discussed the final change.
We have to do that.
Oh, okay.
That's all right. Thank you, Megan.
Thank you, Megan. My my meetings are mixing together.
I move to approve the town report that has been provided to us.
Second that.
Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right. Thank you. Personnel policy. This is our We have to adopt this, correct?
There are still some notes in the track changes on the side. So I don't know if you want to discuss that further, but
I think we need to
Review it
review
again.
this policy and then
We'll redo it at our next meeting,
put this on the agenda for,
27th. Is it the 27th?
24th.
24th.
Can we put the personnel policy on for the 24th, please, Megan, to adopt that? Or would change it, whatever we're gonna do to it, please?
okay.
Thank you. I haven't had a chance to look at it.
Well, I've skimmed it, but I haven't
Yeah.
gone through it. And I'd
Exactly.
like to go through it a little bit better than what we've had time to do here.
Yep, I agree. Okay, so our next meeting is the 24th. All right, property cleanup ordinance. You guys can, I guess, come to the table.
I'd like to get a copy in front of me before we talk about that. Is that possible? I didn't bring mine, Megan, I apologize.
Do we
Have a copy of it with you? Oh,
have a pile of them anywhere?
I don't have copies.
Let me get Megan.
yeah.
I'm sorry, Megan, I forgot my copy at home. I read it, but I had some notes.
I have it on my phone. Do you have it on your phone?
Well, yeah, but
Yeah, but you can't,
I can't
trying to
read.
read that while we're doing this.
Yeah, I can't read my phone. I assumed it would be.
I wrote my notes right here in front of me
I assumed it would be in my package.
as I was reading. I already signed this one. Is this one that you're in?
So I think I'll take this off so I can be heard.
We're welcoming Megan Randall and John Bushy from the Planning Commission to our meeting at this time to discuss property cleanup ordinance.
Mike, you are
Thank you.
12,000. I'm
Yeah.
sorry, you.
Well, we can't sign this one anyway. Well, you can sign it.
We can,
You can sign it. We just didn't approve it.
correct.
Signature. Can't sign it. There's no signature.
That's the one that's changed.
Michelle Peckrell was going to come. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Megan.
Thank you.
I'm sorry, Megan. I can't work without it.
Yeah, I hear you. I like a hard copy.
Easier to follow along.
Yeah, it's very much easier.
Something else comes to mind.
Have, the first draft, the second draft. So Michelle Peckrell could not make it tonight. She's undergoing treatment, and Dartmouth Hitchcock.
That's okay.
I think you're okay.
Dartmouth Hitchcock, and so by Thursday's her day, and by 7:30 she's exhausted. So we wanted you guys to know that we had nothing to do with the article that turned up, right, in the paper, in the banner,
Thank you.
Thank you.
which, laid out sort of what we said, and I thought it was a little premature because the select board hadn't had a chance to even look at it. And be that as it may, we weren't, and had the reporter called me, I would have told him that what this is a draft. And it is it puts together the materials from the Vermont League of Cities and Towns, a sort of sample ordinance that they give out. And then if you turn to page 3, I think it's 3,
Duty of-
the duty is of owners and occupants, that is taken from the Essex Junction ordinance. So what happened in our process was that we all brought in and read various junk ordinances from around, wherever we could, Arlington, where else. I can't remember all the other ones that we looked at. And I just thought this one was well-written and it as clear as legalese allows. And that it focuses on something which, in one word, really, which I think has addresses the issue of what's kind of held Pownal back, in my opinion. from pursuing a really, from working together as a town to clean some of these blighted properties up. And that is that we are all reluctant, regardless of what political party we come from. We all believe in the rights of private property, and we're very reluctant to interfere in that. But the fact is that with every right comes an obligation or a series of obligations or duties. And so what we're focusing on here in section 4 is what the duties are, what people need to do as good citizens. So let's see. The first part of this is just all legal stuff you have to have. It's in the Vermont League of Cities and Towns.
It's all your definitions and stuff, right?
Yeah, definitions, all that stuff. And I added a definition of screening. So I would really appreciate that if you particularly have the town lawyer look at that, be sure I got it all right. I just, screening means fencing, shrubs, trees, or outbuildings so as to hide junk from the view of abutting households or traveled way, okay? So any other definitions were pretty much from the template from VSCP.
So you added
Screening,
letter I
Yeah.
in the definitions.
and I hope it's all,
Okay, no, right, no, that's fine.
okay. So,
I just want to put a question mark there.
Yeah.
So that I know, okay.
and then the other thing that I added, and this is, we did nothing about enforcement or timing or penalties. We decided, that's really not in the remit of the planning commission. And we did not want to go there. So,
The select board's the ones that
yeah, you're the
write
ones.
those ordinances and do that stuff, but
Yeah.
we're trying to get ahead of you and give you
Yeah.
an
Our
idea.
opinion and our
then
idea.
You guys can sort through it and see
Mm-hmm.
what's really there.
Particularly how to do it. What are the fees or the whatever going to be? But John specifically asked, Mr. Bushy specifically asked that we put in here under enforcement right away, right up top, that we put in there, upon receiving a complaint about a property, the health officer or zoning administrator will perform an inspection. Okay, so in other words, we do not want this to be something where a neighbor will go up to another neighbor and say, look at this ordinance. You got to clean this mess up. That is not where we are going. We want this to be civil and kind and clear. So with every right comes obligations. In the requirements section, we state that as a citizen of Pownal, you're obligated to contain your trash. You're responsible to remove all litter and refuse, number one, and you put it somewhere contained with a lid so that it can't blow all over heck and gone and doesn't blow across the street, into the woods, down into the stream. And then if something like that does happen, you're obligated to pick it up that next day, not. And this is coming from experience of what people told me when I told them we were working on this. They said, 6 months this guy leaves his trash in the brook,
Well, cleanup day is a perfect example.
Yeah,
You know,
that we
people out there volunteering and they're picking up the roadways and some people just, I think they take advantage of putting stuff out by the road and people, the volunteers are cleaning it up.
I really though, I hear a lot of talk about people taking advantage, and certainly Tom Shuey was concerned about that as well. I think that we will all feel so much better if some of these properties are cleaned up and if people start following their obligations as citizens of Pownal. That I don't think we're going to feel like we're being used or, taken advantage of. So, so I guess, do you want to go through them one at a time? I just wanted to say that that's why we use the Essex Junction section, ordinance. Because I just thought, if we're all talking about our rights, all the time and not living up to our obligations that go with those
The
rights.
responsibilities.
Right, we're in trouble,
And basically you guys will be able to just take us home, go through it. You're gonna have to
Yeah, I think they've had a chance.
look it all over too, to make sure it's
Yeah.
legal wise, that it is what we. do
Like
for it now.
Angie said, she's already had a chance to really look through it.
I have, and I have a lot of questions.
Yeah. So let's start, can we start with section 4? Because that's the part that we're the most,
Section 4 is basically the ordinance from Essex Junction.
yeah.
Okay,
And
okay.
with some tinkering,
Right.
that makes it.
But it's based
fit
on,
us.
Right.
okay, that's fine. I just wanted to make sure I'm
And
clear.
like one of the problems I felt, we all saw with the Vermont League of Cities and Towns was that they were really emphasizing junk cars. And none of us feel that that's really the big issue in town.
That's one of my questions. In the state of Vermont,
Yeah, there's,
you do not get a, oh my gosh, I just went blank. You don't get a title if a car is 15 years old. So we're in 2022. So any car after 2007 does not need a title in the state of Vermont. So for you to expect that people have their titles if they have cars older than 2007, that is not going to happen in the state of Vermont.
Right. But I believe we already have provision that's.
There is.
They have to be
it's
registered.
in the bylaws and
I
it's.
do, but I am also concerned about people who collect older cars. We have numerous people in the town that collect older cars, and they are in their yards, and they have businesses and stuff. And the state also doesn't give declaimers on cars that are over 15 years old.
I was just going on what the statute is in.
Right, I'm just telling you, this
Three
is,
cars.
And the biggest.
That's what our
biggest thing
bylaws
is
say.
that we're not really, even us as the planning commission aren't trying to go after cars.
no, I understand that, but you also say trailers and stuff, and I'm worried
Where
about,
does it say trailers?
I know I read it. It said trailers, not like trailers that you live in, but trailers that you pull equipment with.
Oh, I did not see that.
There's tons of farms that have numerous pieces
Yeah,
of
no,
equipment
yeah.
that are in their yards.
Can you find that? Because I don't believe that,
I don't remember seeing that in there either, but I gotta go.
I don't see anything like that. And,
At least I read it on online, the one that was sent to me.
oh, maybe that's been changed since then. I don't know.
Yes, because we had changed some of these things out, so.
Okay, the one that I read
That's sent.
over and over was online that you sent me.
Yeah,
Okay.
this is the one we were.
Oh, yeah, that's
working
from
on.
way back. That's what I was talking about, VLCT.
Yeah, because right now,
They really
we pretty much
emphasized.
haven't talked about trash. I mean, we haven't talked about cars because you already had an ordinance on that for
Yeah.
cars and that's it.
We don't have an ordinance bylaw.
Right. And we're not really looking at like scrap metal, that kind of stuff, things that people have, like old rakes and that kind of stuff. That's not really the bigger concern. The bigger concern is trash.
Yeah.
What is like bag trash, that kind of stuff that people
So-
throw out or had put a can out and it got knocked over and never cleaned it up. They just let it go. Those are the bigger things that we're looking at. The things that bring vermin in, the things that could be health risk, that kind of stuff. That's what we're trying to target.
Like when you say portion of the highway, you don't mean Route 7, correct?
Wait a minute. Can we just go through this A, B, C, and D? Because we're really jumping around here a lot. Where are you? Okay, so as we come up to it, then could we address it? I mean, things are being thrown at me that I put this together and I'm not.
Can I give you a suggestion for process on ordinances, just that it may help you organize what you're doing?
Yes, Rebecca.
So generally you should schedule, an ordinance is a pretty huge deal. And if the select board is willing to consider this ordinance, it would have to come from you. So what you should do is schedule a work session to go into the minutia
Okay.
of this ordinance. That's not what was, and have a meeting for that, allow
Good.
people to come and give their input on it. To go into something that you're seeing for the first time right now
Right.
would not be.
It's going to be dragged on forever.
Right, I don't wanna be here until midnight.
Organize
Yeah.
yourselves.
Right, exactly, but I don't think I understood this would have been looked at beforehand.
I did.
Yeah, and you even stated that the one that we got in the email, there's been changes
Yeah.
since then. So therefore, it's not the same as what we got in the email.
No, it is the same as,
I didn't see
It might
any of the
be.
stuff that, I
I
think
didn't see anything about trailers or,
one of the
It
big,
deserves a work session.
Right.
It deserves an in-depth.
Yeah, and that's why I say I think you
minutia
guys
work
should
session.
so one of
look at it.
the, one of
It's not
the,
a,
Yeah,
so, okay,
one of the big concerns that I have. Okay, and it comes from multiple angles. It comes from being the zoning administrator, number one. It comes from being on the select board, number two. And it also comes from just being a resident in the town. So the junk definition bothers me. Because, and I'll explain this to you, okay?
oh, yeah.
Who is the defining person for junk? And I brought this up at your planning commission meeting on the 18th.
But it's,
Well, wait a minute. Because maybe my neighbor goes to an artist
oh, yeah, no,
and they have a bunch of old saw blades
yeah.
and a bunch of horseshoes. And
Like that piece I have in my front
I'm
yard.
throwing stuff out of my head, okay? I'm just throwing things out of my head and I'm not picking at anybody. I'm just throwing things out there. They have a bunch of old metal rakes and the stuff is all welded together and they put it on their lawn. Who defines that as art versus junk? Who makes that definition?
I could answer that.
Okay,
We're not looking at that.
but
That's what I think.
John,
I think the.
No, but I think
If it's in there, I will check it. I'll have to look.
playing devil's advocate,
right.
right? Playing devil's advocate. You don't like looking at someone's art because you think it's junk. You file a complaint.
And then you
to-
go and look at it and you say, I'm sorry, that's art.
But who makes that definite? Who makes that determination?
Person who put it out, somebody with common sense, John. I mean,
yeah, but what's common
But
sense to you may not be common sense.
I'm playing. No, I understand. I mean, I'm just playing devil's advocate here.
Well,
Who
that's
makes that
gonna be-
determination?
I think, well, we need some kind of, that's why we put in the screening. We need some kind of, we can't just go on as we
You
have.
see my point?
I do, of course we see your point.
No, right.
And that was Ronnie Bisson's point. One man's junk is another man's treasure.
Look, I don't want to bring up Ronnie. I'm not here to
just
bring
saying,
Ronnie up.
everybody says that.
Right.
We are all well aware of that. We're also well aware of the fact that there are people who have hoarding issues and other issues that they just,
Well,
Can't deal.
like I said in the planning commission meeting, I said the exact same thing. If someone has 3 old refrigerators in their yard and they're using them as a smoker to smoke hams and bacons and sausages and whatever, and you don't like looking at them, why does that become junk? Because they're an old refrigerator? But they're serving a purpose on
okay,
that
so
person's property.
well, we need to do something about the way that this town
You
is.
guys want a.
I'm not
specific
disagreeing with you.
definition from us?
There is,
What's that, John?
there
You
is
guys
one
like a
here.
Specific definition from us?
I don't know, John. I wish I had the answer, okay?
Yeah.
I understand what you're saying. because
Yeah,
to me,
right
that's
here
not-
it
that
says
wouldn't be junk.
junk means old scrap, copper, brass, iron, steel, and other scrap or non-ferrous materials, but not including rope, rags, batteries, not limited to rope, rags, batteries. It's a
Glass and debris.
discarded household furnishings such as couches, chairs, tables, appliances, or any discarded, dismantled, wrecked, scrapped, or ruined motor vehicle parts. All we are asking about this is that people screen it. from the road, from the roadway and from the neighbors. So we're not saying you have to get rid of all this.
I'm gonna be 100% honest with you right now. 110% honest. The way this looks right here, without making some adjustments, I'm not for this ordinance with the junk written the way it is.
Right, so
Because,
like
because right here is a perfect example under junk where it says appliances. When someone has an old refrigerator that they have a stove.
Okay.
I'm just throwing it
But
out there.
you have brought
You know, and
this
I'm being
up 3
honest.
times already, Mike. These old refrigerators being used as smokers. I've never seen one. That's not what I see.
I'm not saying they're.
On Route 7 when I drive by, stuff that's offensive that makes me want to just, cringe, you know?
Avoid pointing out specific.
Yes,
areas.
absolutely.
Sorry, okay.
For sure. I'm just,
All right, well,
So
wherever.
let's just make it work.
Yeah,
I would personally, my advice to you, if you would have it, for you to reject or accept, is that you schedule a work session
Yes.
on an ordinance and with public input, and the planning commission can be invited as well, and do it after you have a board of 5.
Yes,
Do it after the election, which is 2 meetings away.
right.
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 I agree with
we're
that.
less than a month.
because you don't want to
Make
put
it unique to this ordinance. Do not make it part of a special, don't make it part of a regular meeting with other agenda items. Let people come knowing what the conversation's about.
I do want to say about the definition of junk that was from the Vermont League of Cities and Towns. So, yeah, I don't know
I'm not
how
accusing you guys of
much,
writing that.
how much you could tinker with it.
But we have a lot of people in town that collect that stuff
Yeah, I know.
money off of
They
it.
make money, yes.
and they take it to the scrapyard.
But, they can put it behind a row of bushes or behind some trees or,
Yeah, some up stockade fence. I mean, that's what I've
like-
seen one gentleman.
yeah. Fencing's expensive, so, but,
So everybody. I
behind
think
the barn.
should Go home
I
and
suggest that you guys just take it,
read
look
it.
at it. I understand you're gonna need a meeting on it or something. That's absolutely.
Multiple.
I believe that'll definitely, but can you then throw back to us your ideas and that we can change it or help changing it?
We can offer.
And then meet with us again on that later on. I know it's gonna go into a new
Right.
election and stuff
Because
like
you may
that.
be talking
But
with these 2 and 3 new
If
people.
it's something we get scheduled down the road at a couple of
The thing
meetings.
is, though, that really the planning commission is, I can see us doing a draft of this. We were willing to discuss it and the.
I appreciate
It was
the,
quite loud and chaotic.
Yes.
In fact,
I appreciate the work that you did.
no, I'm just saying that what, as a planning commission, we're supposed to write bylaws. We're not really supposed to write ordinances anyway, so,
Well, you offer suggestions.
yeah, we're all for
Then we put it
suggestion, and
up,
this is
then
our
we-
suggestion.
Then we have to set up town meetings after we tweak it. And then we set up town
Well,
meetings
it's
for
public hearings on an ordinance and all that.
Thank you.
Right.
You guys
Thank you.
will have a
Public
work
hearings.
session That the
Yes.
board's in charge of the, final
Right.
product.
And,
Well,
we asked you for something and we agree that there's an issue in town and wholeheartedly, there's some areas that are worse than others. And, we do need something, definitely.
we've discussed too in the planning commission, the worry that if people aren't keeping it in their yards, they're gonna just take it somewhere and throw it in the woods,
We don't
So,
want that.
there's all kinds of issues around this,
Mhm.
but, I did call I was interested and I called around we all did research, Michelle as well, and other people and, in Essex Junction, they haven't had a problem with this. They've had very good results. So, I think we might tinker with the definitions, but I really think that if we just keep putting it off and letting it go on indefinitely, the town is not gonna just magically clean itself up. Like, sounds like a fairy tale. I wish I'd love to live somewhere that cleaned itself.
All right, so unfortunately, we do have to put this off.
Okay.
Until
Yeah.
after the election, I think.
Okay, get one more last thing in.
Sure.
Besides that, I would like to ask, I don't know if it's a possibility or not, but I know you got the federal funding and stuff for state funding that came in,
ARPA.
the ARPA funds.
Good point.
Is that something that potentially the board could set some aside to help if we approve something like this, to help do some cleanup or pay for some cleanup that may potentially fall on the town? Because we've discussed a lot of areas that might
Yeah.
potentially fall where the town might wind up getting a little bit of that.
Town's responsibility.
Right. Where there was junk trailers that were abandoned,
Yeah.
they're not gonna get cleaned up any other way probably, but to clean up that mess, it when I'm not saying it's going to, but it could take the town's initiative to go clean it up at first. Maybe send it back to a tax bill or something to help try to cover some of that cost, but it's gonna be initial cost to get cleaned up. So if we could have something like that, if it's able to get us a small fund, if it's never used, great, it's not used, but have something set aside if it's available.
There again, we gotta do an ordinance before we can take and move on something like
Right.
that, but.
And the other thing we were talking about a lot in the meeting, in the planning commission, was incentives to, and there's also a difference of opinion on that as well. So can we incentivize some of these, some people who just have difficulties for whatever reason, financial or, whatever, to, help them out? Like, can we get a truck? Are there, can we use some ARPA money for that sort of thing?
These are all conversations that we can have when we start.
Yes,
having ARPA
absolutely.
hearings. And we absolutely need to have ARPA hearings. And the other thing that a planning commission could certainly do, if you wanted to create a proposal for a program and incentivize / help assistance with cleanup, I would definitely have an eye towards making sure it's sustainable, not just a one-time cleanup and it's filled again in a week. But that's my personal advice about that.
How would you, yeah.
Well, no, that's for.
Come to the meeting.
I'll come to the meeting. You invite me to the meeting, you discuss it. But if you create a proposal for the board and you come up with how much you think it would cost, how it would work, you can present that at one of these ARPA hearings as a potential for funding.
Okay,
Good idea.
we'll do that next.
All right.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for coming in.
Everybody has now the most updated copy.
Yes, we do.
Good, all right. So,
Perfect.
Thank you.
Thank you for your time.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for coming in.
Yes, thank you. All right, we're gonna open up for public comment. Please state your name. Raise your hand and state your name. Megan?
I have one public comment
Oh,
before
sorry.
we,
Sorry, I
before we
forgot.
open it to the public in general. Quick, short, I want to commend our road crew and our volunteer fire departments for their stellar work on the ice storm on Friday. And anybody else that I'm missing, I know the fire departments were out cutting trees and opening roads with the road crew. I know the road crew was considerably stressed. I've been in the seat of that truck, as I've stated before, on those kind of road conditions. And for what they were dealt with, outstanding performance, and thank you to every single one of you that were out there, paid or volunteer.
Friday right on through the weekend.
It was
Yeah,
however
I mean,
long it
they
took.
were-
That's right.
They were busting their butt
You know,
and
our power company guys,
Yes.
those guys, I know from personal, I know from a personal aspect, how many hours they put in, and how many power company guys. So, I hope everybody stayed safe. I believe they did. I didn't hear of any accidents. Outstanding performance. I know they take some abuse for it. This time it was totally unjustified, if you ask me.
Yep, they did a great job. It was tough for everybody.
It was tough going.
It was tough.
Yep.
All right, you all set?
Yep. That's it for
All
me.
right, let's open up the public comment. Please raise your hand and state your name. Megan,
Jim?
Hello, guys. How are you? My name is Jim Kosas, North Mason Hill Road. Just first of all, I've got 7 items I want to talk about. So if someone wants to write them down as they go along, and we won't forget about them. Number one is I did attend the personnel executive session thing, and I'm not sure of the timing, but unfortunately, after the executive session was done, there was no mention of if any actions were taken. So I would just, I'm not sure it was the timing of connecting people, but I just hope that possibly you could recap what may have been decided afterwards, if anything. Number 2 is that when it comes to the ARPA funds, I'm just want to check that, yes, rules have changed, and I'd like to find out if any decisions that are being made with those funds, even though they're now thrown into the general fund, if there could be some kind of a discussion by the town or by the select board in an open session, so that there's public comments on whatever you decide to do with those funds. Unfortunately, at the last meeting, when the decision was made that they want to use them for the pump station, it was not put on the agenda. So people did not know that that was going to be a discussion. So I would just hope, as a courtesy, that it could be maybe brought up on the next discussion or next meeting to just confirm that that is what you want to do with those ARPA funds. And then people do have a chance to kind of discuss that. And yes, if it is something that's necessary, I'm sure the town will agree with it, but it's just the idea of just making sure that everything is followed through properly. The next thing is number 3.
I know, twice.
What?
I was talking to Rebecca.
No, keep talking, Jim.
Keep talking,
Your
Jim.
time's running. You're down to a minute.
The thing is, I just want to challenge that the increase in taxes for fiscal year 21 may have been increased improperly for about $9,000 for the interest on the bond. I think it could have come out of other funds instead of doing that. Number 4 is that sorry, I got my little thing. When it comes to the ordinance, I think that Megan and also John have done a great job. I just like to bring out points of, we have people on Jackson Crossroads that have a mess on that road. We have a lot of junk areas that have cars that are in their properties across from other people. We need to get our mind away from the idea that nothing needs to happen. I have emails from Williamstown, Bennington, and other places that say that there are several lots that make a terrible impression of Pownal.
Time's up.
Your time's up, Jim.
Fine.
Thank you.
So let me take care of the two of the questions that Jim has that are 2 of his points. There was no action taken after the executive session at all. We would have been clear on that, and it would have been, even if we had to delay the start of this meeting, we would have had that open.
Yep.
The pump station was discussed months ago with Darcy present, I believe.
Yep.
2 times.
Yeah, I believe we discussed it twice. I think it's when ARPA money first became available back in September, October. So that has been discussed by the board.
Openly in a public session.
Openly in a public
In
meeting.
presentation, absolutely.
Yeah, right, in a presentation from Darcy. And I've spoken to her about that recently, so.
So that would actually fall under old business anyways. So,
We answered his questions.
yep.
Okay,
Next.
anybody else, please raise your hand. Megan?
Mindy Joe.
Mindy Joe over here in Burdick's Park. I just wanted to, yeah, my mind just went blank. I'm making progress over here, by the way. A lot of
Good.
progress. So I just want to let you guys know that. And I got a question. So if I wanted to meet with you guys face to face, do I have to submit an email to that?
You come to a meeting.
You can come to a meeting.
Do I have to write a letter to request that?
If you want to be put on the agenda, Mindy Joe, then you have to write a letter to Megan or an email to Megan.
By
So that we can, by Tuesday, right, Megan? Is that when you want it by?
Tuesday before the regular meeting.
Tuesday before the regular meeting, and then you would be put on the agenda.
Okay, well, that
And
was,
you would have to state I believe you would have to state your reason for wanting to be put on the agenda.
Yes,
I
okay,
had a specific question if you include it in your
email.
email.
Okay.
That way, if it's something that we have to research to be able to give you an answer.
Right.
all right, and my other thing is, Ms. Randall, she has dropped names multiple times. She's mentioned pretty much an address multiple times. cut
And we
people
asked her
off
not
multiple
to.
Times, and she's been asked multiple times not to. I find that offensive, and I don't think that it should be continued. Just saying. That's just my opinion. I wanted to put it in there. And thank you, guys. Have a good night.
You too, thank you.
Thank you.
Anybody else, Megan? Please raise your hand.
There's an iPhone too.
Yeah,
Go
hi.
ahead.
Hi, it's Jenny Dewar. I just, I'm not sure who, I think it was Mr. Bushy sitting next to Jamie. I wasn't sure because we couldn't see him, so I kept hearing a voice, but
Yes.
just to remind that identify yourselves. Michelle's name was mentioned. I really hope she's doing well. I'm not sure that you can decide not to mail the town report. Just check on that, guys, because I could
We
be wrong,
already
but when
have.
okay, then it's changed from last year because my understanding was that not mailing it needed to go to a town vote.
No, it's going to town vote. It's on the ballot.
It's on the ballot.
It's on the ballot not to mail it. Oh,
Everyone will get one this year.
okay. So it's on the ballot not to mail it because believe me, I really feel that they shouldn't be mailed. I'm
No, it's on the
completely board
ballot.
with that.
So
Yeah.
Oh, so perfect. I thought you were saying you weren't mailing this year.
No. I'm sorry if I said that wrong. No.
Okay. Perfect. Great. Perfect. Just wanted to protect you guys from not making a mistake with that. So great. Super. I will certainly be voting yes to not mailing them anymore. Thanks.
Thank you. Anybody else, please raise your hand. Megan, is there anybody else?
There's no one else raising their hand.
Move to adjourn.
Second it.
All those in favor? Aye. Good night, everybody. Thank you. Be safe.